Hello, welcome. The Phantom Radio Sports Show starting a bit late this week, but what can you do? You've had a massive trip, Ciaran, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Come from Manchester today.
So we'll be talking about what you got up to at the weekend, watching some WSL, which is shaping up to be quite an interesting finish. The championship is all over for the season, so we'll be talking about that. Also, some shock news about Liam Senior leaving Hull today, and the Champions League highlights have got a new home. All that and more after Peter Gabriel. Hello. Fabulous. Apparently Bananarama are playing. Please ignore that. Carry on, Ciaran.
Better late than never. We love a bit of Bananarama as well on
They'll
the
be
Phantom
coming
Radio
on
Sports Show.
Soon, just not now.
And we've got lots to talk about today, haven't we, Alfie? Prepared as always after such a... What are you laughing for?
Sorry, yeah, action-packed week of football.
Yeah, it was a packed weekend.
The ending of the championship.
Ending, yeah. And lots of other top stories as well, which we're going to bring to you in the next hour and 20.
Hour and 20, that's what
yeah.
we're saying, yes. Keep filling, I'm trying to find the bed. Go for it. Professionally run this show.
Yeah, well, we'll start with the championship, won't we? Because both ends of the table, there was something to play for. We had teams at the bottom battling to stay up. We had teams at the top fighting for promotion, that last playoff spot. And it was full of drama in the end. I think it was quite slow to get off the ground with the goals, but it was full of drama. And I think the biggest story has to be Ipswich Town getting promotion. Our Ipswich resident, Callum Brissett, fan of the show, can't be with us today, but he is still drinking that champagne. He is still celebrating, and fair play to him, because what an achievement it was from the Draxler boys. We all expected them on the final day to go up, but asked me at the start of the season, I was probably thinking, well, no, they'd be happy just to stay in the championship, but now they find themselves in the big time.
It's this strange mixture of fairy tale story that no one can quite believe, and also thing that weirdly everyone semi-predicted at the start of the season. It's quite odd. A lot of people saying, at the start of this season that Ipswich had what it takes to go quite far this season, and it turns out they did. The vibe around the club has just been completely happy for, over, 2 years now?
Since McKellar came in.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly, from the moment of. It's weird. Imagine supporting a club where there was just nothing bad to say about them whatsoever. I think that sort of momentum that built up really threw them and propelled them right up the table, and they just never looked like stopping. There was a period of sort of a month in the season but all three of the teams at the top, Leicester, Leeds and Ipswich, looked like neither of them wanted to win and claim first or second. But once that period was over, and for the rest of the season, they've just been sort of unstoppable, really. And the positive force of good vibes from their previous promotion just kept them going. They just never looked like they were going to let that positivity disappear, did they? Yeah,
definitely. They play such good football as well on the front foot. They were always looking to score more goals. That every other week, they'd be involved in some high scoring encounter, wouldn't they? And fair play to them. They've earned their right to be promoted, and I think Leicester are probably deserved champions. I think from the start they looked the strongest team, but Ipswich beating Leeds to that second place, and I think deservedly so.
And as much as we sort of like to talk about the championship and how it's finished, I think we must look forward and say it will be interesting to see them in the Premier League.
Yes.
But how well do we think they can do?
Are we going to do like a sports scene whole hour now where we just quash all the positivity and just go, they're going to have to improve vastly?
Well, you do have to be realistic about these things. As much as fairy tale as it is, I don't think they're going to go on and end up, near the top of the Premier League table. Let's put it that way.
Very surprised.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be incredibly tough. And if we look at this season in the Premier League, it looks like the three teams who went up
are going to come down.
Yeah, on the road to straight back to where they came from, down again. So it's not an easy thing to do. But if you look at the achievement of this season and how they did it, there have been times, and on many occasions, where Kieran McKenna's lineup is identical to ones that they were fielding in League One the season before. So you can't go and do what Forest did and buy 30-odd players.
I hope they don't as well.
Yeah,
I hope they try and stick with the spine of the team, but they are going to have to buy some Premier League experience in there. They're going to have to.
100%. Yeah. But there's a fine line between Premier League experience scattered throughout a solid squad and just throwing money at the problem.
Yeah. And they might have to be maybe a little bit more clever in the way they play, because they did concede quite a few goals in Championship this season. Of course, they would outscore teams or they would get over the line, but I think they went to Leeds and lost like 4-0, didn't they? And they weren't ever really in that game. And there was a few other, moments, I'd say, where they looked a tad vulnerable, but...
And if you look at teams like Burnley, who went up in the Championship playing really expansive, exciting football and playing teams off the park every week, that really hasn't translated in any sense.
I think they've got to learn
League.
from Burnley, because Burnley have been the master of their own downfall in a way. Because the football they play is good on the eye, and they have, scored enough goals, but it's more defensively. They just keep giving the ball away and just in their own half and keep gifting teams goals. So if Ipswich can just, try and not do that, then they might be alright.
Might.
I don't know, because we'll see after the summer who they sign, won't we?
But look, that's a happy story for Ipswich,
Yeah.
as we say.
I'm glad to
Leicester
see a new
promoted.
team in the Premier League as well.
Yes,
I know they've
it's
already been in
always
the Premier League
nice.
before, but I mean, like, they haven't been in-
1992.
Yeah,
quite a
not
while
really in
ago.
my lifetime, is it? You know what I mean? Like, so it'd be nice to have a fresh face.
Well, alas, Leicester and Ipswich have the happier story. Leeds missed out on automatics and will be thrown into the mire of the playoffs, the absolute stress of the playoffs.
It's an exciting playoffs, isn't it, this year?
It does look pretty decent. But one team who have missed out on the final day are Hull City. And now, as you've sort of mentioned when we were, when Peter Gabriel was, I don't know what the word, I was going to say serenading, but I'm not sure Sledgehammer is the right song to use that word. When he was singing away, you mentioned that, of course, Hull City themselves haven't actually released a statement to this effect, but all news outlets appear to be reporting that Liam Rossini, their manager, will be sacked. There is a
statement now. 5 minutes ago, there wasn't. Now they've confirmed it yet.
There we go. It
Part
has been confirmed.
Effect, the chairman has said the usual. It's been a really difficult decision. Let's just try and read this.
It makes a good radio.
Yeah.
You going, what do they say? Point is, hold on, Hull City of 7th in the table is where they finished. People would not have predicted that, I don't think, at the start of the season. They played some really good football, come up against top teams in the division and got results. And overall have performed above expectations and have provided exciting football for the fans to watch this season. Yes. So that means, of course, they'll keep going next season. Oh no, we've sacked the manager.
I just don't understand.
Is this a hissy fit? Is this a...
Well, it says that basically the visions for the club in the future aren't aligned.
What? Surely is he not quite a progressive
too much
manager?
Money, or is it the owner just making an excuse? I don't know.
Because isn't he quite a progressive manager anyway? I thought that was the vibe I got.
He's a great young manager.
So what direction do Hull want to go in that he doesn't align with would be interesting. Maybe it is a financial thing. Maybe he asked for more money. That is also possible. Or, I just find that baffling. I hope it's not a throwing the baby out with the bathwater situation just because they came 3 points off the playoffs. And just getting angry about the fact they missed out by 3 points.
But they weren't even favourites on that final day. It's not like complete disaster. They were relying on other results to go their way, and they had to win. So I don't understand it anyway. I thought it was a pretty good season for Hull. It's a really tough division, the Championship, and they weren't the favourites by any stretch, were they?
And teams who it hasn't been a good season for are the 3 relegated. We spoke about Rotherham before.
Well, I think it was quite obvious.
Just in the fact that in the fact that they were resigned to relegation ages ago. So I feel there's no point going into detail about them really, because what have we learned?
They got Steve Evans now, haven't
they? Oh, that's true. Yeah. What have we learned in the past few weeks about Rotherham that we didn't already know? We knew that they were going down. Huddersfield also condemned to the drop.
Yeah, not surprised again.
And this one, Birmingham City, so the place that was very much in the balance over the past week or so, was the final relegation spot in 22nd place. Birmingham end up going down. Now, we have said before, I think that I don't know whether I'm speaking for you here, but I'm certainly speaking for what I've said, sort of think that, in a way, they are the team that deserve to go down because they put themselves in this situation when they sacked John Eustace earlier on in the season, and they go down on 50 points, which is a rare occurrence because usually 50 points in the Championship, it used to be gospel that they were the amount of points that you needed to be safe. I believe it's 40 points in the Premier League and 50 points in the Championship was sort of the kind of thing that I seem to remember, especially for Stoke in the Tony Pulis era, these kinds of numbers would be thrown out as this is how many we need to get to be safe. But no, apparently, I can't remember the exact stat, which is bad because obviously I'm telling you it all anyway. But it's something like only one of 2 or 3 teams to go down with more than 50 points or more in quite a while. So yeah, quite an odd one there. But also they definitely deserve to go down.
Well, they should never have sacked John Eustace, should they?
Exactly.
Appointing Wayne Rooney was a big
that
mistake.
Also means that Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth Argyle all avoided the drop. Blackburn most significant there because their manager is now, of course, John Eustace.
I thought Blackburn were going to go down on Friday. I didn't see them winning at Leicester. I thought Leicester would have wanted a win on that final day before lifting the trophy there at home, but I actually thought Blackburn were going to go down, so they defied
your
prediction. So fair play to them. They've scored enough goals this season. It's just about keeping them out for Blackburn, wasn't it? That Sammy Schmodix is going to be
Golden Boot winner.
Yeah,
of course.
He's going to be wanted, isn't he, by a few other Championship clubs probably.
Well, look, if you're finishing
maybe Ipswich
in the relegation battle and your striker wins the Golden Boot,
28 was it, something like that?
Yes, and I think you know what's kept you up. But also very bizarre to think of that, because you think if you're a team in such crisis that you're at the bottom of the table, how are they managing to create enough chances for this guy to become the leading goal scorer in the league? It's very hard. So he must be performing well above his XG rating, knocking him in for fun, and yet still they end up near the bottom of the table. So I think that probably calls towards poor defence.
Yeah, I think so too. The other two, Plymouth, I think we always knew were going to be down the bottom, just coming up from League One. They had a good home record. It was more their away form, wasn't it?
And after I accused them of possibly not having enough fight, they really took the gauntlet and ran with it.
I actually didn't expect them to beat Hull, because obviously Hull had something to play for on that final day, so fair play to them as well. Good home, and who's the other team again? Well, Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Danny Roll has
He's done an excellent job, hasn't he?
Yeah, really good job after a disastrous
start. They could kick on next season under him if they back him. Or they might just do a whole City and just go, well, you can go, mate.
An interesting team, Sheffield Wednesday, especially from an ownership point of view, because there's a lot of contention over Chan Siri, isn't there? So
yeah, they don't like him.
We do wonder. And of course, the whole Darren Moore situation of the previous season, where he got them promoted and then asked for a raise because he got them promoted and was denied more money. So, these things, it looked like that had consigned them to relegation, but it turns out no. The new manager, Danny Roll, was able to keep them afloat in the Championship, which is very bizarre. It's just one I didn't see coming, because they did look like a team for a large period of the season that just had nothing to offer.
Well, the first half of the season, they were awful, weren't they? They're pretty much like Rotherham at the back end of the season, just getting beat most weeks, weren't they? But what a job he's done there.
Indeed. And finally, I think I do have to talk about Stoke, who finished 17th.
What a win on the final day for you boys.
It was a great win, to be fair, against Bristol City at home, 4-0. We've I was about to say released our released list or retained list. Is that what that makes more sense? Released our retained list, and Tyrese Campbell, who did score on the final day, it has been released from his contract at the end, which is quite an interesting move from the club. Saw some statistics that showed. It's not very good for ears. You need to see the graphs, I think. So I will retweet them. But from Potterlytics, who's a Stoke City analysis account, who compared our attacking statistics between Alex Neil and Steven Schumacher, and the difference is stark. In almost every metric, we are so much better in an attacking sense under Steven Schumacher than we were under Alex Neil. Just at times looked toothless under Neil, whereas Schumacher looks to have got us looking a bit more fluid up top and Million Man
You've had a few
Hoff.
good wins under him lately.
Yes,
Seems like you're getting into his
indeed.
philosophy now, and if if you back the manager, like
And our newest signing in January,
well.
Million Man Hoff, has started paying off a bit more. The left-footed Dutch winger looks quite exciting. We've got a different sort of a nice combination of people going throughout the team now. So hopefully that can all gel next season. And I'm once again sitting here saying, oh, there's always next season. It can always be next season.
Is it going to be next season?
Always be better next season. Which is what I've said for the past 6 or 7 seasons, and it never turns out to be true. So take my words with a pinch of salt. However, I do quite like Steven Schumacher, so we'll see where we end up.
I'm going to clip that, and then when we come back at this time next year and he's been sacked and you're back in 16th,
I think
I'll
it was
reject
fairly non-committal, that statement, so I don't think it'll be embarrassing either way. But alas, we end the season in around the same zone that we finished it for the past 6 or 7 seasons.
What is it about that?
I don't know.
Bottom of the table, mate.
The thing is, the pattern is that there's always the same chunks of each season, just in a different order, where we have a really good sort of month, and then we're bang average for most of it, and then we have a really bad month at some point. And the season where we sack a manager and bring a new one in, we start off terribly, sack the last manager, or average, and then end well. And that means we keep the manager, we start alright, and then go badly, so then that manager gets sacked. Do you see what I mean? It's a cycle that has continued on. But hopefully Steven Schumacher is the end of that cycle. Also, exciting player Bae Jun Ho has been quite good this season, won the Player of the Season award for us. Just looks quite nippy and in and out. One player who didn't work was a player who I still predicted wouldn't work, is Wesley from Aston Villa, also been released from the club at the end of his contract.
I thought you were going to say Haksabanovic on loan from Celtic.
No, he was a very good player when he played, but we didn't always play him for some reason. But he looked like a really high quality player. I'm just not sure.
I've always thought that.
Not sure whether his heart was in it entirely.
Yes,
so I imagine
we
won't be getting him back next season.
Well, Celtic will be selling him. Obviously,
I think we'll probably use that loan a bit more wisely, because I'm not sure we needed him that much. Weirdly, but anyway. I was going to say a decent season, not a decent season, a horrendous season for most of it, but positive signs towards the end.
Glimmer of light.
So obviously we'll be promoted in first place next season.
Yeah,
that's going to happen.
On the playoffs, is there anyone you think is going to do it?
So can we remind people of the games?
So we've got Leeds v Norwich. So that's Daniel Farker going up against his former employers, and we have West Brom v Southampton.
Yes, so who do you see getting through there? I think
Leeds aren't in good form,
Leeds, having thrown away an automatic place, or mentally have the biggest challenge to overcome. And also, I think it'd be more interesting if one of the other teams went off anyway.
Yeah, Norwich don't really... Norwich are the underdogs.
It's so weird, because for most of the season, I thought Norwich were just bang average or awful.
I thought they were terrible at the start of the season.
Especially at the start. And David Wagner, it seemed like it wasn't working at all, but apparently they seem to have... They're a team that I haven't really kept my eye on enough, and suddenly they're in the playoffs at the end. But that is the nature of the Championship, where I think it took until about, was it sort of late April before there was any guarantees of where any team was finishing.
Yeah.
So I think about 22 of the teams in the league could have been either relegated or promoted still.
Yeah.
By late April. So there were that many teams who weren't safe by then.
Yeah.
So to predict the outcome is not a thing you can do. But my eye was off the ball with Norwich, and apparently they floated on up there.
I think it might be Southampton, because West Brom's form recently hasn't been very good. They did beat Preston on the final day. That was a Preston side, nothing to play for, also in not great form. So I think Southampton, and psychologically they've just beaten Leeds on the final day, haven't they? So then obviously if those two met at Wembley, that might be a small advantage.
That is true.
They played good football under Russell Martin as well. They've had a few, obviously, big defeats.
But the playoffs
5-0 Leicester,
itself are obviously a whole different kettle of fish.
That's very true.
To contend with. We'll see, I suppose. It's
Just
again
have
the
to watch how it
ultimate torture for fans and emotions that run pretty high, and you really can't predict anything.
Did you watch any of the non-league playoffs? Keep your eyes
I didn't.
on that. That was quite thrilling.
I'm aware that Bromley's was quite interesting. Did all the captains have an EFL captain's armband?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just Brian Webster.
Armband on before
you think he's just that character.
Promoted. Fair enough.
Fair play to him. Yeah, that sounded like a great final. But the National League South final was 4-3 after extra time. That was a thriller. Macclesfield didn't go up, which I couldn't believe because I saw them against Worksop, and they went 3-0 up, and they were on fire. They were brilliant.
Macclesfield.
And I thought, at home to Marine, they've got this in the bag. I'm going to check my phone, they're 2-0 down.
It's one of them.
Couldn't believe it. So they're surely going to be favourites to win that title next season. And if they don't go up next season, then
Savage out.
Savage out, yeah.
Oh dear, it's terrible. The cool fate of the playoffs to come. Now, a cool summer. It's Bananarama. Finally.
Now, we all love BBC Match of the Day. How about we get a bit more of it from next season, as the Champions League highlights are now going to be brought under the Match of the Day umbrella. And I think this is some exciting news, Alfie.
Yeah, an odd one. We don't know who is going to be presenting exactly. The Metro story, which is where I read about this, said rather helpfully that the current presenters and pundits lineup has yet to be announced. However, Match of the Day is presented by Gary Lineker, and Match of the Day 2 hosted by Mark Chapman, which is just telling us facts for no apparent reason there. So we don't know.
Thank God, I thought you were going to say Jermaine Genius.
This is the thing. I reckon it may be.
No, don't give him that.
Ciaran, not a fan of Jermaine?
No, not really. Like Alex Scott, for example, has been to Staffordshire University, done a broadcasting degree, and other people like Gary Lineker, Mark Chapman are just very good at what they do. Jermaine Genius,
wow, shots across the bow
just
here.
Bit rubbish, to be honest. You just find him a bit uninspiring,
but he
uncharismatic,
does the one show,
and he's very biased.
What more do you want? The man hosts the one show.
One of the most boring shows on TV.
Wow. That's what the one means, is it? The one, insert small writing here, of the most boring TV show in
pretty
the
much.
Yeah, it's not great. It's
really
a bit weird. The segues they make in that show are quite hilarious. They go from saying, and so that's how you identify a bird through some binoculars. Anyway, horrendous disease. It's strange. Yeah. People laughing to it is basically a show made up of Lampardian transitions between ha ha ha, but no, seriously, just for half an hour, however long it is.
At least with this morning, I feel like there's a bit of energy. I feel like Dermot Allison. Oh yeah, I can get on board with this. It's quite entertaining. That's just
maybe
forced me to
that's
sleep.
the answer. Alison Hammond hosting the Champions League highlights on BBC.
Oh, wow.
No,
well, we have got it.
But in any case, this is a big change. Free-to-air highlights for the Champions League is massive. I think free-to-air football is just the best thing, and it's so annoying that you have to pay, £30 a month or whatever.
On more than one subscription.
Yes, because if you want to watch the Premier League,
TNT,
you've got to watch
Sky, Amazon.
Amazon no longer in the game, of course.
Yeah, but they did used to have some Christmas sort of games, didn't they? So that's free subscriptions.
Already, that's madness, ridiculous. Utter madness. But no, free to air is the way to go. And of course, I think more people were obviously aware of the Champions League when it was on ITV and Clive Tildesley was.
My childhood memories of watching it on ITV. Lee Dixon in the commentary box was a pundit. I remember that. Yeah. Ian Wright.
Former Stoke player. Just to, get that out there.
No, it's good that you can just switch on TV. It's right there. Watch it for free.
However,
and I think it's good coverage.
Point to pontificate on is that TNT will, of course, still remain as the rights holders for the live broadcasting of the games themselves. Now, what they currently do is they have a goal show on one channel while multiple games happen. And the goal show is usually hosted by James Richardson with a host of pundits from Rafa Honigstein and James Horncastle, as mentioned the other week, and usually Owen Hargreaves tends to be in there. And they do that goal show in a sort of Soccer Saturday style where they can actually show you the goals that are happening throughout. I imagine they'll still do that, but what they currently do is they then segue to an ad break once all the games are finished, and then that becomes the highlight show. So it's like a linear thing where they just go into re-showing you all the games again. So it might jar a bit where you're watching TNT, and then you have to change over to BBC Match of the Day to watch the highlights. It might seem a bit odd to completely change who's there.
I presume they'd have two, like one on Tuesday, one on the Wednesday or something.
Yes.
I don't know how they're gonna.
It'll be interesting to see what the format is and who hosts it.
Yeah, if they get any different pundits, because of course, obviously they just do Premier League.
European pundits instead of your Alan Shearers and your Ian Wright.
Yeah, because what did Shearer and Ian Wright achieve in the Champions League?
Exactly.
They scored a few goals, but
you know what the answer is going to be? They're going to still end up getting like Rio Ferdinand or something. I find these things are really exciting opportunity to change things up. So can we please
unemployed.
Take the opportunity to put some interesting new perspectives there, not the same old cliche nonsense that we get anyway.
What do you think of Ashley Young on Monday Night Football then last night? Is he a pundit in the making?
I sort of rated him reasonably
all right,
well.
wasn't he?
I thought Jamie Carragher was quite good, to be fair. The bit at the end, which I found quite interesting, of course, Crystal Palace dispatching of Manchester United in a really ruthless fashion. It was quite shocking at the end to see the scenes of Manchester United players being warmly applauded by the Man United away end, which Jamie Carragher pointed out and said, look, that's support, that is, because they have watched some dross today, but still clapping them off at the end, which I don't think you get often, and I think they have every right to not clap. Ten Hag, yay or nay? I feel he should be gone.
God, no. He should be sacked today. Well, actually, he should be sacked after Sunday's match.
Michael Owen was on, I think it was CBS, coverage of this game, and said that he thought that they should actually sack him now and allow someone else to come in ahead of the FA Cup final they're in, and they've got some important games left of the season that could define where they will be this time next season, is what he said. And so why not get someone in now and make a radical change, was his opinion on the matter. Erik Ten Hag, after the game, said that he still thought he was the right man for the job next season.
Results don't say that. Performances don't say that.
I just don't think he's made any difference whatsoever.
He's made no difference. At least with Arteta, with other managers who've come in, you can see, there's a philosophy or there's a way of playing. You can see something to hold some hope. They're awful.
And
Man
I'm also
United.
going to
Awful.
mention another team who you are a big fan of, Tottenham Hotspur, who, although they haven't finished maybe as high as it looked like the season was starting, I did see a graphic that had Arteta and Klopp, I think it was Klopp.
It was Klopp, yeah. Sky Sports one, yeah.
Yes, that's it. It was a Sky Sports one with Ange at the front, and it said how many points they got in their first 35 Premier League games, and Ange got 60.
He's got more,
I think Arteta had 50 by then, and
I think they
Klopp
should back
had
him.
40 odd. And basically the point is that there are solid foundations to build something positive on there, and Arteta at the start of at Arsenal, I think they had to be realistic and say, actually it's a difficult job this, and there is progress here. And Tottenham is exactly the same, I think. Coming from where they were when Ange joined, I think they could look to be quite positive, and that could not be more opposite of Man United, where you don't look and go, ultimately they have got to an FA Cup final. There looks to be positive green shoots here that could grow into something.
Last season.
It still somehow feels utterly monotonous and like it's going nowhere, despite the fact that they've got to an FA Cup final.
Yeah, I just think they've just got to part ways with him. I think they've got to clear out a lot of their squad, fresh young manager. Just, they've got to just try something different, because it's not working. And Big Ange should be backed, because I think get players to suit his philosophy. You saw at the start of the season, it clearly works.
Yeah, before all those injuries,
and they're still scoring goals. It's just defensively, and Tottenham defensively have been rubbish for years. It's not just happened overnight.
So finding that, they were never able to quite transition correctly away from the Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld solid partnership.
Lloris in his prime, sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. They haven't quite figured that out yet. Although goalkeeping wise, I think they've sorted themselves out. He's a very good goalkeeper. But maybe just need a bit more investment in that back three.
Emerson Royale needs to leave, obviously. He looks
defensively very
all over the place against Liverpool, didn't he?
But against other teams that aren't one of the best teams in the league, he looks fine. But when you're getting found out at that level, that's Tottenham, where the progression is.
Say now, want to be top four, want to be kicking on, pushing for trophies. You can't be pushing for trophies with Emerson Royale. You just can't be.
No, but fifth in the table.
He's still done it all right, hasn't he?
And it's despite maybe missing out on Champions League, because obviously Villa are 7 points ahead, and well deserved, by the way.
I think so. Yeah, Unai Emery.
Incredibly impressive to watch this season. There's still positives to be taken from your favourite team, Spurs. Top of the table at the moment, of course, it's still Arsenal, Man City again, games in hand, a game in hand, but they don't look to be faltering at all.
No, unfortunately not. Superb against Wolves on the weekend, weren't
Which
they?
is
Haaland is
massive shame.
You know, again back scoring goals, and that fourth goal was exceptional.
It's a shame for the neutral.
It is. We've got to pray on Bernd Leno producing the greatest performance of his life on Sunday.
Fingers
crossed, because I'm not praying on Tottenham, and I'm not praying on West Ham. They've been thrashed a few times away from home this season now, and they've got nothing to play for on the final day.
And of course, David Moyes leaving.
Don't think that'll make any difference with it.
Hoping to give him quite the high to go out on. A manager who's possibly been at times underrated, and admittedly haven't been good enough at spots this season. But ninth is
he's
where
still
they
done a
sit.
really good job there. Hasn't
There really is nothing wrong with ninth in the
and
Premier
he goes down
League.
as a legend for winning the Conference
And as
League
he
trophy.
said at the weekend, was it at the weekend? I think it might have been after the game actually.
About Declan Rice.
Yes, is that makes a huge difference when you had the best midfielder in the world, or the best defensive midfielder in the world, playing for your team last season, and you don't anymore. They haven't just gone out and casually brought another version of him, because that doesn't exist. Because that is just him, and if they kept hold of him, it would have been a completely different story. But they were never going to be able to.
No.
So it's a humongous challenge for them to overcome there, and they probably evened out to about where they should be, really.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it will be interesting.
What do you think about Lopetegui coming in then?
Yes, I was going to say it'll be interesting to see whether
I thought he
he'll
did a
be
good
able
job
to
at
turn
Wolves.
things around. He did a job at Wolves.
Is Peter Lansley going to probably text me now?
I think people are sort of a bit like, I don't know about him at Wolves. It was neither here nor there, really, was it? But
kept them up though.
Yeah, which was ultimately the
goal
role that he was appointed to fulfil.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think
we'll get a better perspective of him at West Ham, Ben.
We'll certainly see.
A full summer as well.
On that front. Right, now we're going to head into some relevant song. I haven't got the right song, but it's the right band. Because, of course, last week we spoke about Sean Dyche being in the Blossoms music video. Everton, of course, fully safe in the Premier League now. 15th in the table with 37 points.
What a job he's done.
Yeah, that's... top of the relegation zone, Luton on 26. So, a decent gap there that they've built up. But Sean Dyche also built up something of a career in the old music videos industry now, as he joined Blossoms for their song. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the song. I was trying to find it to put on the system. It's not available. So we'll have Charlemagne, then we'll come back, do some quizzing, and also talk about the WSL, which is shaping up a bit interestingly. Hello, quiz time now. That was Band on the Run by Wings, and before that it was Blossoms with Charlemagne.
Tune.
Indeed, Mr. Paul
Young
McCartney.
kids these days, eh? They don't know what they're missing out on.
They don't know what they're missing. Now, as with every week, because we became lazy and couldn't be bothered to come up with intelligent questions, which we can do from time to time, as we learnt on Saturday night when we hosted a pub quiz for some friends, and it went quite well.
I feel it went quite well, though some need brushing up on their general knowledge. But apart from that, it was very good,
although we can do that, we are sticking to the usual format on this show of Wikipedia football quizzing. But
we do have themes now. We have put a little bit.
There is a theme involved in mine. I think it's going to be quite difficult to get the theme. So if about halfway through you genuinely don't know, I might give you a small punt in the correct direction. That is, it may be helpful. Who would like to go first? I don't mind.
I don't mind either. We should flip a coin or something, shouldn't we?
I don't have a coin. There's nothing flippable in here, so unfortunately not. We'll flip an imaginary coin.
Shall I just go first?
And let you go first.
Okay.
So I shall put you under the spotlight first. The theme is one that you'll find out. I've lost my mouse on this computer to bring up the answer. Here we go. The Wikipedia Footballers quiz. Did we hear that? We didn't.
We didn't hear it.
Started their career in 2012 with Arsenal.
Ooh, with Arsenal, eh?
2012.
That's a little bit just after like the Jack Wilshere sort of academy era. 2012. Can't think anyone off the top of my head. Let's have another one and then see if produce a guess.
Okay, in 2012 they went out on loan to Oxford United for one game.
It's not going to be like Carl Jenkins, is it?
Following season going out on loan to Sheffield Wednesday.
Okay, Sheffield Wednesday. Is that like Ziarlam? No, some youngster. It's going to be someone.
From Sheffield Wednesday, they headed off the next season again on loan for 8 appearances to Rotherham United before in the same season moving, I presume in January, to a loan move to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
This is going really well so far. Academy graduates at Arsenal, not a strong point so far.
With 13 appearances for Wolves, the next season in 2017 to 18, a loan to Getafe for 5 games.
Hector Bellerin?
Incorrect. And the final loan
I don't think he'd have liked Rotherham, would he? His fashion sense and everything,
yeah. No. Also, I think he was pretty much first team in 2017, wasn't he?
20, sorry.
Then in 2019, the final loan move of their time with Arsenal is to Reading.
Emiliano Martinez.
I need to get it on that one. It is indeed.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Emiliano Martinez, where he moved in 2020 to Aston Villa, where he made 143 appearances, and of course, as a big staple for Argentina in their run to the World Cup final.
What a goalkeeper now, because we didn't, sort of expect that. I remember when I was photographer for the day at Arsenal against Reading, EFL Cup game, photographer said to me, just stay there 5 minutes, got to go get a picture of Martinez because he doesn't play that often.
What, because he was shockingly
Because he was like third choice.
Well, there we
that
go.
was in like 2017, something like that.
And of course gone on to win the World Cup final. Not the most notable thing he did at the World Cup final, winning
I've watched a World Cup final winner.
More notable what he did with the Golden Glove at the end, but the man's antics know no bounds. Alas, the theme will materialise, I'm sure. The next player is, I'd argue, a bit more difficult. So think Argentinian in the World Cup final in 2022. Now the next player started their career at, I don't know whether it's Troyes or Troyes in France.
Okay.
Making 67 appearances from 2005 to 2007.
No idea. I can't.
They then moved in 2007 to Saint Etienne, where they remained until 2011, making 132 appearances.
Laurent Koscielny?
Incorrect.
You haven't gone down the Arsenal route, have you?
The clue is not Arsenal. After Saint Etienne, this is the club that I think they're most notable for playing for. From 2011 to 2017, this player made 203 appearances for Paris Saint-Germain. There you go. PSG.
So French. Yeah.
Any dead air is happening.
Yeah,
here.
sorry, I'm just trying to... I'm thinking, people,
Thinking French person who played for Troyes, Saint Etienne, Paris Saint-Germain, and then next on to,
Yeah.
in 2017 to 2020, Juventus.
Oh, God. You know, I should be better at covering European football leagues as a football journalist, but...
of course, during his
not
time
really.
at Juventus, from 2017 to 2020, he played in a match that is the theme of this.
Okay.
So if you think of what happened from between 2017 and 2020, there was a game in there that this player played in. And then from 2020 to 2022, before retiring at the age of 36, this player played for Inter Miami.
French who's played for Inter Miami.
And has made 84 appearances for the senior French national team between 2010 and 2019. Okay,
I
it's
don't have a clue.
a midfielder. Defensive midfielder.
Matuidi? Blaise Matuidi.
Blaise Matuidi is the answer. Have you picked out what the theme is yet?
No.
Okay.
No idea.
I feel I've given enough sort of pointers in the right direction, so I'm going to...
Well, there's many matches
Leave it and
between
tell you at the
2017 and
end.
2020.
So this player started their career with Bayern Munich's second team
Okay.
in 2006-2007, where they made 42 appearances before the season after making one single appearance for Bayern Munich.
Just a one.
And also
That's
they were
not
then
brilliant, is
loaned
it?
out that season for 13 appearances to Borussia Dortmund.
Okay. So, Matt Hummels. Random guess. Is it actually?
Congratulations, it's a good random guess. In 2009, he signed permanently for Borussia Dortmund, making 212 appearances for returning to Bayern in 2016 for 74 appearances, and then again returning back to Borussia Dortmund for 141 appearances, where he remains today.
I think that's my proudest moment. That was a completely random.
Okay, there are your three. Identify the theme.
What? Well, they've all won the World Cup.
They have all won
With
the World Cup.
The last three winners.
There you go. They were all playing in the World Cup final.
And the last three World Cup
And
finals.
last three winners.
That's
So
a good-
Emilio
yeah.
Arno Martinez, of course, played against France. Blaise Matuidi played for France
Against
Croatia in Russia. And Mats Hummels played against Argentina in Brazil.
For Germany.
Yes, for Germany in
1-0 win.
2014. Mario Götze scoring the goal, of course.
What a
There you
day.
go, that's your quiz from me.
Excellent quiz.
Thank you very much. Now time for you to put me under the spotlight.
Yeah, three people.
Cool. Ready
And
to
this is
go.
a theme. So, going to start off with this player. Started his career in 2002 at Bristol City.
2002 Bristol City. Do I know anyone? I don't really know any
That's
sort of
quite tough, isn't
famously
it? Yeah.
Bristolian footballers.
Don't think I do either.
2002.
But this guy, obviously.
Just throw a random name, sort of noughties player. Oh wow, this is difficult. This one.
Yeah, more EFL, this one.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Let's say Lee Hendry.
No, it's not Lee Hendry.
Okay.
Maybe I should do that though. You like Lee Hendry, don't you? I should do that one.
Well,
one day,
he was
actually.
good for Stoke.
Yeah. He then moved in 2003 to Fulham. 0 goals and 79 appearances.
Okay, so possibly a goalkeeper or defender. Or a really bad striker. One or the other. What year? 2003?
2007.
Oh, wow. Quite a while.
He went on loan to Torquay United for one.
Let's just
2004
throw out
for
the
10
really
appearances.
random guess. I'm trying to think of a Fulham player who didn't score much. I can't imagine that... What year 2?
2007.
Oh, no.
So,
no, okay.
A bit before the
I
Roy
was
Hodgson
going to
sword.
say Breed Hangerland. It was just a name that randomly came to me, but I think he played for them till about 2012 or something. I've got nothing to offer.
Well, I think you'll get it later on. So he then moved to Reading between 2007 and 2010. Again, 0 goals and 64 appearances.
Reading. Who was in goal for Reading in about 2010? I think Adam Federici was the goalkeeper a few years after that.
Did have a loan spell at Ipswich between 2009 and 2010. He scored 1 goal there.
Oh, so maybe not a goalkeeper, maybe a centre-back. I don't know, we're going to have to carry on.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Then moved to Hull City in 2010 to 2015. 144 appearances, the most of his career at any club.
Curtis Davis.
No, that's a decent guess, though. That's a good guess.
Alex Bruce.
No, so it's another decent guess. These sort of players could potentially have had this path.
Is it Liam Rosenior?
End his career at Brighton and Hove Albion, just been sacked by Hull City. And there's a theme to my 3 people. So yes, it is Liam Rosenior.
Is it managed teams that they've played for? Could that possibly be the theme? Or sacked by teams they've played for? Or sacked recently? That's also a theme, I suppose.
You've got it right in one of those 3.
Okay, I think it might have been the first one. Let's continue on to the next then,
To the next
shall
one,
we?
yeah. So this guy started his career in non-league football at Chelmsley Town in 2004 to 2006. That obviously won't help you.
I don't know, but I'm going to just guess anyway because he's been sacked recently. Is it Pascal Chimbonda?
No, it's not. But
have we done him
was
before? Maybe.
Don't know.
Well, in any case,
But that was a good guess actually because you've got the theme now.
the final Pascal Chimbonda update ever, I believe, will be coming later in the show.
It's a very sad moment.
Imminently, indeed.
God.
Continue.
I don't want to get there now. He then moved to Warsaw in 2006 to 2010.
Ooh. So not a fabulous player then. He spent the chunk of his career sort of EFL lower reaches. I'm going to cough. Apologies. Feel for time.
Well, he did end up having a good career.
Not really. I don't think that mute button helped at all. Many apologies. He did end up having a good career.
He still having a good career.
Okay, I don't know at the minute, so let's move on.
You know. He then moved to Watford. 389 appearances before moving to Birmingham City and Forest Green Rovers, and then getting sacked by Forest Green Rovers this season. It is Troy Deeney.
Come on.
2 out of 3. Can you guess the final player manager to have been sacked?
I'm trying to think, did Stoke ever have a player manager? No.
No.
Glenn Hoddle. Sorry, I'm just throwing in an early guess. Go for it.
This player only had 3 clubs, all in Scotland.
Okay, let's throw out... Should we throw out Scott Brown?
Hibernian, Celtic and Aberdeen. It is Scott Brown.
Oh.
He's on fire. Who did he get sacked by this season?
Fleetwood?
Correct, yeah.
With his lovely hair that he actually has.
He's
not
nice,
a bald man.
Yeah.
He purposely was bald because he thought it made him look
Yes.
more intimidating, which is hilarious.
Yeah, they've all been sacked by clubs this season.
Oh, there we go. Is that the end of the
That's
quiz?
the theme. That's yeah.
Fired through
Fired
that.
through it.
Get in.
He's now at Ayr United. In the
Not
Scottish Championship.
Not hair, you know. Don't have a badum-tish sound effect.
We're not doing it, family.
Oh, terrible. Anyway.
You did very well.
There we go. We shall talk about the WSL quickly because you had an interesting weekend. And then we may
big
briefly
game.
touch on my Sunday, and then
Go
we'll
on to
move
the
on
two
to the
big
Pascal
updates.
Chimbondo update, which I know you're all eagerly waiting for. Go for it, Ciaran.
Yeah, I was in Manchester this weekend. Bought this ticket in November. Go watch Manchester City women against Arsenal women, thinking that Arsenal might be potentially winning the title. Didn't materialise. It's Manchester City who were at the top of the table at the start of the day, and the BBC had built it up. If City win, they've got one hand on the title after Chelsea slipped up the other night. Bit of a party atmosphere. They had all the smoke cannons, everything before kick-off. Battle with the bands. They were ramping it up. I think they sort of thought Arsenal nothing to play for. Haven't won at Manchester City since 2017. I think they were probably slightly confident, and also I think a point would have been still a good result for them. But the Stina Blackstenius show at the end, 2 very late goals for Arsenal to win 2-1. It was an absolute pretty good match. Good atmosphere. The Arsenal fans always travel in good numbers now. And yeah, I was there. It was excellent in the sunshine of Manchester.
It seems like an interesting one. A late turnaround, late win. Must be a good atmosphere amongst Arsenal fans. Was it segregated, or were you just...
No, it wasn't segregated, but the Arsenal fans...
Did you find the Arsenal fans?
Yeah, they were all standing behind the goal. And then there was a little seated area which was just for Arsenal fans.
I've
not
been,
segregated, but...
I see what you mean. Just happened to be populated primarily by Arsenal fans.
It's better when you all stand together and you get the chants going and a bit more of an atmosphere then. So that was nice.
Seemed like a very good game to watch.
It was a good game.
It's certainly a good finish. You're probably thinking around 85 minutes.
It's not our day.
And then, 89
It sort of just came out of nowhere, yeah.
Second minute of added time. Not a bad one from Stina Blackstenius there. Really turned up.
Yeah, and then Chelsea went on to beat Bristol City 8-0 in the evening and just wash away that goal difference advantage that Manchester City had. And now, if Chelsea, win their last 2 games, they will have snatched the title.
They could snatch the title because, of course, Man City...
But Man City could still maybe win 6-0 at Villa and, I don't know.
It's very close. Chelsea have a game in hand, but that game is only as much as the points difference. So they're essentially drawing at the moment. So whoever slips up first really is the answer there, isn't it?
It's going to be a good final weekend, isn't it? Because Chelsea have to go to Man United. What will Man United do?
Tough. Man United in 5th, of course, below Liverpool.
Yeah, because Liverpool beat Man United at the weekend. So Liverpool have done really well in their first season back. They deserve a lot of
Bristol
plaudits.
City not done very well.
They didn't win a home game all season.
1 win, 3 draws. It's I don't know how you get through that, to be honest.
The teams that come up from the Championship,
the
gap
just seem to struggle. Bigger. It is getting bigger, which is
a shame.
What do you normally say with it? Jinx? That's what you said. I couldn't quite remember what the thing. It is a shame. 3-2-1. It is a shame.
But
yes.
Hopefully Crystal Palace can do better because they're the team who've gone up. So I look forward to that next season. Maybe a trip to Selhurst Park's on
the horizon for you.
Well,
interesting title race there, which will bring you the closing of next week.
Chelsea, unfortunately, are going to win it now. I think.
Do you?
Unfortunately.
Emma Hayes is, after all the conversation about how she's having a
and
terrible
we were singing when
out.
City were 1-0 up, we were singing the quadruple's gone missing.
Oh.
And now she might still get 1 trophy.
What a shame. Well, in any case, it would shape up interestingly, and there's, only 1 game week left. Obviously, Chelsea have got those 2 games. They've got Tottenham to play midweek as well. But still,
tough.
We'll see how it goes. My weekend, also the final weekend of the Women's National League, Northern Premier Division. Sorry.
I just call it the National League North, like the men's.
Yes. The 3rd tier of women's football, obviously, as mentioned before, with Derby County women reporting on their game against Burnley, who are 2nd in the table.
Another excellent result.
It was the best way to finish the season you could possibly imagine, really. It was an impressive display and 2 excellent goals played at sunny Turf Moor. And I was standing on the gantry looking over the stand, and it is like a Lowry painting in the background, like sort of beautiful industrial landscape. And when you think of Burnley, you don't imagine that, do you?
No.
But it just really looked quite picturesque, and a lovely sunny day for a nice upset to finish the season. And the 2 goals that they scored were quite something. Dulcie O'Connor scored the first for them from a decent way out after they could have scored. Then the goalkeeper saved. It was kicked away in space on the edge of the box, whacked it. Then Captain Amy Sims got the second in the second half after she dummied past about 2 or 3 defenders and then spun it into the back of the net. And you know when you hit it so well into the side that the ball wraps around the back of the net, it just looks, it looks so good. It's the kind of goal you can watch over and over again on repeat without getting bored. You can say that much, but what a way to end at Turf Moor on a pitch that was like carpet to run on. Versus some of the pitches they've been on this season. That probably suited them. Stark contrast,
Yeah, I didn't see that result coming, to be honest, because obviously Burnley have had such a good season at Turf Moor. They would have obviously wanted to put on a show for the people that had come out and supported them.
Maybe in a sense they were banking on possibly being in the title picture on the final day, and that's why they hosted it at Turf Moor.
I don't blame them, but it's good that they still hosted it at Turf Moor.
Yes, it didn't quite happen.
Was it a good attendance at all?
It looked reasonably decent. I don't think it wasn't breaking any records, I don't think, but it was a decent number, and you could hear the fans from the other side.
Oh, that's good.
You could hear the Derby fans. Specifically one of them, of course.
We know which one,
goes every week. He really made it. Honestly, his voice was echoing around the stadium. I don't know whether he had to be particularly loud or whether the acoustics in there are quite good, but it really travelled quite far across the pitch, and it was a good day, good support for them to end the season on. Fantastic goals in there, but good one. Let's say the best way to end the season, I think. But the best way to start wrapping up the show is, of course, he's gone.
We put a load of effort into that, and then they just sack him.
It's alright, we've only got like 2 or 3 shows left. It's not like, we just got to make the most of these.
Unfortunately, this is which manager are we gonna do next?
Who are we going to focus
on? Who are we gonna
next?
curse?
Well, he is. He's resigned or been sacked.
Shall I read you the statement?
Yes.
It says
he also has said a few things since on his Twitter, which is called Chimbonda Pascal, which I'll attempt to bring.
Skelmersdale United said, obviously placed on record the gratitude efforts, blah blah. Joined the club and have rooted at the bottom of the table with the aim to resurrect the club fortunes. And whilst there were many memories during his 16th month tenure, were there? Maybe more publicity stunts than memories.
Wow, cynical.
It didn't quite work out the way either party had anticipated. As such, the club believe it's time to regroup to seek a new appointment. Pascal's drive and enthusiasm has never been in question, and he leaves the club having brought it unrivaled publicity as both manager and player. We wish him well for the future, and if anyone wants to apply for the job, just email chairman.skemunitedfc@gmail.com.
Indeed, it's always.
Should I apply just for a joke?
Just for the lols. Well, Pascal himself has come out a winner in the past week in a charity game in Wigan that we mentioned.
Congratulations,
Latics. 2 Latics Legends teams faced each other, and the team in blue and black that Pascal was playing for won 2-1. I believe he also scored in the game as well, which he shared. With the statement, I was born with it and I will die with it. Love for the game. No one will take that away from me. So he's looking positive into the future. But alas, yes, no longer manager of Skelmersdale United. He also said when someone asked him at the bottom what happened to Pascal, he said, I didn't quit, I just been sacked. Which means I've just been sacked is how he grammatically say that correctly. But yes, essentially he was sacked from the role and departed, saying, I want to give my thanks to Skelmersdale United, who've given me the opportunity to do what I always love to do. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for some reason. I wish, literally says for some reason, I wish them all the best for the upcoming season. Also, thanks to the 12th man for all their support.
That's nice.
So, signing off, graciously there, and I think looking for a new challenge next season.
Well, hopefully he'll get another job, but it's not going to be much higher than obviously where he's.
Hey, maybe
Scamsdale, is it?
There were a few teams in the EFL.
Hull City, may now.
Hey, exactly. No. Well,
Yeah.
I'll always keep an eye on him now. We spoke about
will.
him literally every week for some reason. As he says, for some reason, yes. Maybe he doesn't know, but one of those reasons is us.
We need to tell him. We need to reply to his.
Yeah, he didn't work for some reasons. Sorry, we one of the reasons. But alas, yes, Pascal is. I was about to say no more at Skelmersdale United, and that was. There you go. Have we the other feature?
Oh yeah.
You've done
it's
the
an
research?
Arsenal-dominated feature this week, but it is.
Well, here's what happened.
It's all I could find. Come on, it's not my fault.
Okay, Ciaran, tell us what happened
on this day. Quite nicely aligned, actually, I think, for Arsenal fans. Because in 2003, we thrashed Southampton 6-1 to start our 49-match unbeaten run.
Wow.
Of course, the famous, invincible season. Obviously, this started just before the invincible season, but started the run. And in 2006, Arsenal played their final match at Highbury. Ciaran rescored a hat-trick, so we beat Wigan.
Very nice.
Don't know if you've seen the pictures, but...
I haven't. I don't actively.
Looks brilliant. I'd love to have been there.
No, I haven't seen the pictures, but good for you.
And then happy birthday to Yuri Tielemans, the scorer of the 2021 FA Cup winning final goal for Leicester City.
Of course.
That was a great strike, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Where is he now?
He's at Villa.
Villa, of course.
Yeah, he's doing alright at Villa. He's got himself into
the team a little bit more. I remember when he first got to Villa, they were on a tour in America and they did the thing where they strapped a GoPro to him for a whole game. And I remember watching that video and feeling quite dizzy.
I wouldn't want to beat up there.
It is actually quite impressive a feat to manage, it turns out. Play a whole game of football. It looked like his head was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and I couldn't quite keep up with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that all for on this day?
Yeah, that is.
Alright, that is the... penultimate, or possibly we got 3 shows or 2 shows left, we don't know. But
depends
alas, that was. And we'll be back to sign off after a bit of Chrissy Hyde and UB40. Sorry, Bruce. We'll skip Bruce. He wasn't supposed to come on at all. Apologies.
We still like Bruce, but
We do quite like Bruce Springsteen, but we're signing off in a moment. Yes, we're closing out the show now. Again, apologies to Bruce Springsteen as much as I
it's
like
been another great show, my friend.
Another great one coming towards the end, of course.
Sad, isn't it?
Again, not much sort of football to be looking forward to after this next
shame,
week or
it?
so.
There's a few playoff games. Obviously,
Yes,
in the EFL, you
after the
said.
playoffs.
Champions League tonight, though. And
Of
tomorrow.
course.
Who will
Again,
reach the
we'll be
final? Yeah.
looking at what that shapes up like next season, as we mentioned, with the new highlights. It'll be quite interesting to know. It's coming towards an end. I don't like it.
I don't like it
what
too,
can you do?
but you do need a break at some point, don't you? Get some other stuff in the house done, all that.
And that was the final ever Pascal Chimbondo update, I think, unless he has some news for us next week, or he gets appointed at some point. But yeah, there you go. That's about all we have to say this week, I do believe, unless there's some glaring omission.
Congratulations to Kyron Wilson on winning the snooker last night. Beating that qualifier, Jack Jones. He did very well to get to the final. So yeah, congratulations.
I've got nothing to add.
No.
Sorry, I've got nothing at all to add
final.
there. And then we'll see you with more updates next week. But for now, goodbye. When I find the right button,
we're off to enjoy the sunshine.
Out, or the Clash here with Rock the Casbah. See you later.